How's it going, everyone? Welcome, Eulier Gonzalez here. Today, this is a different video or a series of videos uh, of taking notes of a particular course from Udemy to become an AWS developer certified, uh, or specifically, the AWS certified developer associate. So I'm gonna take notes on another computer that I have here, and mostly it'll be is just taking notes and listening in a particular course to actually take the exam at the end of March, roughly. All right, let's get into this.
Hello and welcome to the AWS Certified Developer Associate course. My name is Stefan Marek and I will be your instructor. So we're starting in 5 minutes. Let's just go over some prerequisites. So we're going to prepare for the DVA C02 certification. And although it's a challenging certification, I will try to make this course as interesting as possible to cover everything you need to know. And as such, we will cover over 30 AWS services. So we have a lot to learn, but don't worry, we'll go step by step.
Oh, okay, interesting. So this is the AWS Certified Developer Associate. So AWS Certified Developer Associate, right? There you go. We'll cover over 30 AWS services. Okay. Course to take exam. Okay. We're going to prepare for the certified developer exam. That's right. For certified developer exam for certified developer exam DVA CO2, DVA CO2, exactly, and the course, right? So we will cover over 30 services. Okay. So the goal pass the certified developer, not only pass the certified developer exam, is to understand understand the basis, or the fundamental services AWS provide to developers. AWS provide to become proficient by passing the certified exam. Exactly. What is that? Is understand the fundamental services AWS provide to become a proficient by passing certified provides to become a proficient by passing the certified developer exams. There you go. So objective, that was it. So this is cover over 30 AWS services. All right. AWS and IT beginners welcome. AWS and IT beginners are welcome. Beginners are welcome.
and go with me with the hands-on. You don't need to be a developer to pass the developer exam, but it definitely helps to have some coding background. Now, if this is your second AWS certification and you've done the Certified Solution Architect beforehand, try not to skip any lectures. After the seventh section, yes, there are some new content regarding the Certified
If
Developer
you've
exam.
done the AWS Certified Solution Architect, don't skip the lecture. If you have done the AWS Certified Solution Architect, don't skip the lecture. Don't do not don't skip the lessons. All right.
But please review the first lectures. It will be always good for you to rehash that basic knowledge. So what's AWS?
Give me a quick pause here. All right, and we're back.
If you're new to this is a cloud provider.
Exactly. So what is an AWS? How do you organize this course content? Course intro, AWS certified developers. Course intro. Okay. This is the course intro. So the introduction, right? Course introduction. So what's AWS? That's a good question. Start from the basics. Definition. What's AWS? An Amazon Web Service is a cloud provider. Is an Amazon Web Services cloud provider, similar to Cloudflare, right?
And with the AWS, you are able to have services and servers that can be used on.
Okay. So here you might have services and servers that you can use depending on your needs. Exactly. That you can use on demand and scale easily. That you can use on demand and scale easily. All right. Two topics that are heavily in demand, especially for ever-growing, fast pace. And what is an ever-growing thing? Cancer, for example. In any case, but is that? And again, this is for enterprise application, right?
Demand and scale very easily. This has allowed companies to run a website for say millions of people with only 3 or 5 MB.
Exactly. So there are companies that serve content or provide services to millions of customers with a small engineering team. And I think this is what the scalability and this is actually part of the to be an ultimate, to be an elite, is to do more with less. That's the main point of this.
Years, which is crazy. So AWS has revolutionized IT over time, and now it powers some of the biggest websites in the world that you.
So AWS now powers some of the biggest websites in the world. Netflix is one of them.
You know of, for example, obviously Amazon.com, but also Netflix. So this course is very complete. We'll be learning all of these things and more, and this may be daunting at first, but don't worry, we'll go step by step. Don't feel afraid, but as you can tell, there's a lot of.
And there is a lot of services here. uh, to do so. Holy moly! No, I don't feel afraid. In fact, I feel that this is what needs to be done. This is this is the natural step here. So what we can do is to put some labels around it, or define which buckets each one of those servers fell in, uh, and that's it. And that's it. And understand when can we use that, so on and so forth. It's pretty much that in all of these companies. So they already set the infrastructure for, you know, uh, and all of these different services now are leveraging the design patterns, right? All of these services now are leveraging is the design and architectural patterns that now are embodied into these frameworks or aka services. So it's not a matter of which design do I need to apply, which pattern do I need to apply. It's more about this: what cloud servers do I need to use, when do I need to use it. So it has more economic incentive, not software problems.
The things we have to learn in this course. So I like to call AWS a spaghetti bowl because it is a complete mess, but we'll try together to navigate through it and together learn all the services we need for you to become an AWS certified developer. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next lecture.
Hmm. Please read these brief notes. If you did not do my AWS Certified Solution Architecture or AWS Certified Project, it is perfectly fine to start with this course if you're new with AWS, which is, yeah. While many learners start with AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, then AWS Solution Architecture, then move to the AWS Certified Developer, I have included in section 1 through 11 all of the fundamentals on AWS. Oh, okay. That are shared with the AWS Solution Architect Associate. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 So the AWS Solutions Architect Associate now. So in section 3, this is a brief note. Okay. So brief note. Oh. Brief note. In section, exactly. It is perfectly, it is fine if you, exactly, if you are new to this, all right, it is fine if you are new to this, to AWS services. So this course is fine if you're new to AWS services, right? And then you got all of it in section 1 and through 11, all the fundamentals on AWS that are shared with the AWS Solution Architect Associate. If you complete my AWS Certified Collaboration, no. If you first complete and interesting, you can skip section 3, 4, 3, 4, and 5. That's interesting. AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. 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 So the cloud practitioner is to understand getting started with AWS, the IAM, and the AC2 fundamentals. Okay. If you're first completed by AWS Certified Solution Architect course and don't want to rewatch the content, please watch the following instruction: AWS Fundamental LB ACS, which is from LB and ASG. I'm not quite familiar with that. The caching, Elastic Cache Strategy, Amazon Memory DB for Redis, Section 9, Route 53, Routing Policy, Traffic Flows, and Geo-Proximity Hands-on, and Section 10, VCP Fundamentals. Please watch the following. If you first completed the AWS Certified course and don't want to rewatch content, please watch the following courses. Okay. Interesting. From section 7 and on. Okay, but the course content is this. Keep reading about it. Keep going. How the fuck? Creating an AWS account.
So let's go ahead and create an AWS account.
Please.
For this, on the website of AWS, I'm going to click on Create Account. Here I'm taken to the portal setup, and I need to put an email address called the root user email address. So this is your email address, as well as an account name.
Silly, but important. Okay. Account. This is AWS account. AWS account. Okay, AWS account. Or creating an AWS account. All right.
So next, after you verify your email address, put a password. So the password has constraints. It must be 8 characters long and must have at least 3 of the following: uppercase, lowercase numbers, and none.
Let me do that here, right? I do think I can use that. I don't have that access. Did I lose access to that? I think so. Let me now create an account here. All right. There you got it. Sign up for AWS. Sign in to an existing. Okay. No. Root user email.
Alphanumeric characters, and please do not lose your passport. Put it somewhere safe. And do not lose your passport. Put it somewhere.
Okay, so this is it. Let me use now an AWS account name. Verify email. That's right. They actually send something to that. I'm assuming that you're gonna receive that here or in spam. Right? I haven't received anything. I received now in spam. It goes directly to the spam. Right? That's what it is. Right? And take it. Right? So root user password. That's interesting. Yes. Right. Okay, I can say something like this and say alright, here I can say and do something here, right? And then I can take and all of this, right? I also have now an iOS account, which is good, but here we're not gonna use that. There you go. Exactly. This is now log on access. Fair enough. Diggy, and now I'm going with this. So with the log access, I'll have AWS, right? And then I'm gonna have is my email and my password. That you're gonna say is super duper pass 1, 2, 3. What I gotta go here, and there you go, right? There you go. All right, that was straightforward. Very, very straightforward.
We're safe. And next we have an account plan. So here we can choose between free or paid. So in both cases, you are going to be spending money in AWS, and you are going to start with about $100 in credit, and you can receive up to 200 in total. The difference between you can receive up to, and you are going to start with about $100 in credit, and you can receive up to 200 in total. The difference between free and paid account plan is that in the free plan, you don't put a credit card down, and if you run out of credits, then your account will be closed automatically. In the paid account, this is where you want to have production ready workloads, and so you're going to put.
Okay. So after you sign out, you want to have some production ready workflows, because it is workflows here. It is workflows here. So allegedly, so once you have this, diggy. All right. So go to AWS and create an account. So once you do that, so here is because it provides this. Here you have two plans to go with, right? Free provide you an account with credits, and if you runs out of it, they will close your account, right? And on pay, this is where you want to deploy your workflows to production. Okay. And it's interesting how he described that.
With your credit card. In the paid account, this is where you want to have production ready workload.
Exactly. This is where you want to have your production ready workflow. That's interesting.
And so you're going to put your credit card down, and in case you go over your credits, then you're going to be charged on your credit card.
you put a credit card, and if you go above the limit, then it will be, or they will charge your credit card. Silly, but
So for
important.
us to learn AWS safely, we're going to use a free account, and this will be enough for this course. In case you need to do some things that are paid, AWS is going to prompt you to add in your credit card, and you will be free to do so if you choose to. But these amount of credits should be enough for us,
So
more
for
than enough for
learning
us to learn
purpose
AWS together safely. So let's go ahead and choose
is,
free plan,
so for learning purpose,
and then we
let's
put
go
in
with
our
the
contact information for
free
AWS. So
plan.
this is a personal project.
Since this
Here's
is
my full name,
the
and then
safest
I'll just enter more information.
way.
So here you have to enter your credit card number. So this
So I choose a free plan.
this is necessary even if you have a free plan. The reason why they want you to have a credit card is that they want to verify your account and prevent fraud. So if you have a free plan, even if you put a credit card number down, you're going to have no charges until you actually upgrade to a paid plan. So this is a safe way to put your credit card info, but don't worry, you're not going to be charged. Just $1 is going to be used for the verification process. And of course, that money is going to be refunded to you right away. Next.
But in any case, how do you plan to use it for personal accounts? There you got is this. Earn additional credit card, complete variations activity to earn up to 100 credits, such as creating a day first AWS budget to monitor. It's a Julia Gonzalez, that's right, country. It's a Argentina, it's interesting. Argentina, that's right. 42. Buenos Aires. 51. I have read. I agree. Hell no. They say, hey, billing information. Billing information. So there you got it. Let's get into it. Let's go for it. But with, what about the price? What about the price? You wanna charge that? Charge there. 55, 62, diggy, auto right. Right. Today, 10, we're talking about October. Diggy. Alright. I don't think this is gonna work. Let me see. Oh, it works. Oh man, it's because, oh, okay, that's interesting. It works. So Brex. Okay. Sign up for AWS.
We must confirm our identity by providing a phone number.
Plan. This is their own workflow. plan or yeah, uh, plan tiers. Okay, plan tiers, TDC payment, TDC registration, um, or station, por así decir. They want. Mm-hmm. This is to prevent fraud, right? And abuse. This is to prevent fraud and abuse. So they won't charge. They only charge $1 for uh, checking purpose, and they only charge back for checking purpose, and only charge when you shift to when you shift to pay plan. Allegedly, right? Then you have is the sign of AWS, confirm the identity. So uh, phone verification. You have the phone registration. That's a freaking lot. Phone registration, which is in my case. This is what I need to have is a different one. This is what I need to have. This is what I need to have is a different one. D8 FTDF. The verification code. AWS, if you got it. The verification go. Yeah, I definitely will need to have that. Okay. What about this? Hmm? Hmm. Hmm. about this one? What about this one? Oh, but this is exactly, it's a new one. Alright. Okay, so now this actually works. Right. Let me put a tag here. So this is from, there you go. I cannot put a tag here, manage tag. Exactly. This is alright. Yeah, but they don't mention is which one do I have this recorded. But in any case, it is, right? And it already works. Okay, good, good. So what about here?
And then you may be prompted for a support plan. And here I just choose basic support, choose free, and then complete the sign up. Now your account is being activated and we should receive an email when it's complete. And
Mm-hmm. So my account is already completed. That's interesting. Alright, and AWS completion on registration. It is useful to have another phone number, right? and then congrats. Right, you're ready now are part of the here. You're now part of it.
Finally, I am logged in the UI. If somehow you don't see this page and you just need to log in the UI again, just sign out. And when you sign out, click on sign into console. And
right. And here we are now already signed up here, right? So which is the console, as you can see here. There you go, right? This is the console. So now on the console, admin dashboard. Which is here. Alright. Good. Good.
if somehow you don't see this page and you just need to log in the UI again, just sign out. And when you sign out, click on sign into console.
Okay, sign into console. Here. And I will be able to see is this.
And by clicking on it, you can go to here, this page, and here you're going to click on sign in using root user email. And actually we have an improved signing, so this is the one. So root user, then you enter your email address that you used during sign up. And you may be prompted with this upon sign in. Do not worry, we're going to take care of this during the course, so just skip for now. And you are back in the AWS console and you're good to go. That's it, you've created an account, congratulations. I hope you liked it. There, then you enter using root user email to And finally, I am logged in the UI. If somehow you don't see this page and you just need to log in the UI again, just sign out. And when you sign out, click on sign into console. And by clicking on it, you can go to here, this page, and here you're going to click on.
Exactly. So if you need to enter from a new season, go to AWS and sign in console, or console sign in.
And by clicking on it, just sign out. If somehow you don't see this page and you just need to log in the UI again, just sign out. And when you sign out, click on sign into console.
Exactly, sign into console. And follow the step to sign in as root user as it presented here. Interesting.
And by clicking on it, you can go to here, this page, and here you're going to click on sign in using root user email. And actually we have an improved signing, so this is the one. So root user, then you enter your email address that you used during sign up.
Okay. This specific steps, right? It's gonna tell you that
during sign up. And you may be prompted with this upon sign in. Do not worry, we're going to.
So they're gonna also is registering your and ask for multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, right? Okay. Good.
Take care of this during the course, so just skip for now. And you are back in the AWS console and you're good to go. That's it, you've created an account, congratulations. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.
Good. AWS account activation troubleshooting. Ensuring your AWS account is activated. Please read. Before proceeding with this course, you need to make sure your account is activated. These activation emails look like this. The content might be slightly different from you. Okay. Okay. Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Okay. So please be sure that you receive is the confirmation here. Makes sense. Interesting. Okay. Um, confirm email or confirm account activation via email. So check your email. Check your email for this. For something like this. That makes a lot of sense. Alright. That makes a lot of sense. Alright. Your account is now active and ready to use. Exactly. So here is when I look at, hey, your account is now active and ready to use. Your free plan I can include is $100 in AWS credit with opportunity to earn 100 more within the next 6 months. 30 plus AWS services providing monthly free usage limits. No charge with free plan limits. Exactly, no charge with free plan limits unless you explicitly upgrade to a paid plan, and AWS basic support for billing and account assistant. Important feature, it means that you are on your own. It means that you are on your own. For any question of more detail about free plans, see the AWS free tier FAQ. Start building with AWS today. Thank you, AWS, Amazon. Okay, so that's right. We get it. We are getting it, right? You have to have an account activated. Make sure to. Okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. What the French tool did it better? Okay. To have an activated account, make sure you have now an add payment method. Verify your phone number, and choose the AWS support plan free. It can take up to 24 hours, usually a few minutes. After you choose a support plan, a confirmation page indicates that your account is being activated. Accounts are usually activated within few minutes, but the process might take up to 24 hours. When your account is fully activated, you will receive a confirmation email for them. When your account is fully activated, you will receive a confirmation email after you receive this email. You have full access to all AWS services. Oh, there you go. Exactly. And when your account is fully activated, you will have receive a confirmation email. After you receive this email, you have access to all full services. Troubleshooting delay in activation. Account activation can take sometimes be delayed for. Finish the accounting process. Check the payment associated with your payment method. And check your financial institution. Financial institution occasionally reject authorization requests from AWS for various reasons. Contain your payment method. Check your email for requests for additional information. try a different browser, and contact AWS support if needed, right? But this is not the troubleshooting. Okay, that's interesting. Troubleshooting. Troubleshooting. Troubleshooting in the layout activation. hmm But if you follow everything, if you follow all of this step, so you shouldn't be actually here. How do I create an active a new AWS account? hmm Where to find more details? You can find them here. Okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Absolutely. Totally, totally, totally cool. Okay, but now I already set that up. This is interesting. Give me your phone, give me your credit card, and let me verify them. If it is good, you are. So give me your phone, give me your credit card, and give me your phone, give me your credit card, and choose the registration plan. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. That's good. An important message.
So just a quick lecture about course review. Very shortly, Udemy will ask you to give your opinion about this course and ask you to put a star rating. The star rating represents the entire course overall, not just a few lectures you've seen. So basically, these reviews, they mean a lot to me, and they represent your opinion about the course. It's super important, and I would love one from you. But if you're not ready to rate the course, just click on Ask Me Later, and then the prompt will come back maybe half an hour later. Overall, in this course, we're going to start by the fundamentals, and so if you're already a certified solutions architect, you can skip the few fundamentals lectures or sections, or you can just watch them if you want a quick refresher. Okay, I really hope you'll enjoy this course. I will see you in the next section.
Good.
Hi, and welcome. My name is Stefan Narek, and I will be your instructor for this course. I'm delighted to have you here. I really hope that you will enjoy this course and that you will go all the way through with it.
You are what? Stephanie Marek. Cloud on that instruction. Stephanie Marek. That's interesting why you have loosely English. Stephanie Marek. So instructor. Stephanie Marek. Ah, so you're French. Stephanie Marek. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So cloud and data instructor and data instructor. That makes a lot of sense. Why you have this loosely English?
Course. I'm delighted to have you here. I really hope that you will enjoy this course and that you will go all the way through with it. So this is just a 2-minute introduction so that you get to know me, and then we'll hop right into the course. I'm French, so if you hear a small accent, this is where it comes from. It's the sweet country of France.
Exactly.
But I've also lived in the
You
United
had-
States, in Australia, and now in Portugal. But I've also lived in the United States, in Australia, and now in Portugal. My expertise is going to be around AWS certifications and Apache Kafka.
This is interesting because this is what the companies are actually looking for. Okay.
Is going to be around AWS Australia and now in Portugal. My expertise is going to be around AWS certification.
His expertise in AWS certification in Kafka, in Apache Kafka, in Apache Kafka. Okay.
And Apache Kafka. Why? Well, because in my career, I've had the chance to be a data analyst, a big data engineer, a developer, and a solutions architect. Analyst,
Okay.
a big data engineer, a developer, and a solutions architect.
So through how okay. Through his career, mhm, he went to or he passed to data analyst, data data analyst, data analyst, big data engineer, big data in engineer. All right, big data engineer, developer, and AWS solution architect. Developer and AWS solution architect. AWS solution architect. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Architect. Well, obviously, nowadays I'm a teacher. I love to teach, and this is my passion. And I'm gonna help you achieve any goals you have through online learning. So before we get started with this course, there are two ways you can connect with me. The first place is on LinkedIn. So this is where I will share some news about.
Okay. Stephanie Marek. You can look at this LinkedIn. LinkedIn. Stephanie Marek. Right. No. Stephanie Marek. Holy moly. All right. That's right. Good. Diggy diggy. It's LinkedIn.
AWS and the Kafka ecosystem. This is where I announce new courses, and this is where I congratulate my students. So for example, if you've completed the course or you passed a certification, make a post on LinkedIn and tag me, and I will make sure to congratulate you. I love to see my students reach their goals. This is my main motivation. The second way is on Instagram. So Instagram is a big project of mine that I started several years ago. So I love to travel the world, and I dedicate some of my time to actually meet my students. And to date, I've already met over 40 students. So every time I meet
Right.
a
This
student,
motherfucker.
I
Holy
dedicate some
hell.
of my time to actually meet my
Good. Conductor in the company.
students. And to date, I've already met over 40 students. So every time I meet students, we'll have a chat about your goals, about how the course helped you in your career, and just general chat about life. And at the end of it, I will make a post on Instagram. So if you want to get a chance to meet me or to read about other student stories, then follow me on Instagram.
Stephanie Marek. And this is Instagram. Stephanie. Stefan. Stefan. Stephanie Marek. Alright.
Finally, before starting this course, I want you to set a goal. By setting a goal, you will have a much higher chance of finishing this course and learning a lot. So maybe you want to finish this course in 3 weeks. That's perfect. This is how you learn.
In 3 weeks. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. Estimated time to finish 3 weeks. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. start date, start date, today, 9/12/2025. It means that by the early, holy moly. Okay.
Learn. And this is how you will make the most out of this course.
Let's see,
And
let's see,
don't
bro.
hesitate to go through the videos as many times as needed. This is what videos are used for. If necessary, you can speed up the video or slow it down so it becomes easier for you to understand me. So that's it for me. I hope you will enjoy the course and I will see you in the next lecture. Happy learning.
Oh, and he hosts. Exactly. So we already have that. Data cumulus. Diggy diggy. And Apache here. And there you go. A simple website. In 2024, exactly. Copyright on until 2024. He didn't update that. Alright. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a link to all of this. Practice exam. It's your all links to that. Exactly. All links to that. Simple. A simple website, bro. Simple website. A simple website. That's interesting. A simple website, right? Okay. Go and slide download. Please follow the instruction at this courses and certified developers. Download the code. Once you have already downloaded, compress the zip file, place it in here where you won't forget. You will need to access it often during your learning. Download the slides to help your student for your certification. I'm sharing your course slides with my student. Please only use them for personal learning. Thank you in advance. Exactly. Not commercial. Simply click to start a download. Alright. It is like don't compete with myself. And if you do, please these slides are copyrighted and restricted for personal use only. Exactly. Please do not share this document. It is intended for personal use. And there you go, right? In table of content. Mm-hmm. And it is all of this. Okay. That is a very okay. This is the table of content. Mm. 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 This is the table of content, which is exactly what I want to do here. Table of content, bro. Exactly. Table of content. Let me see if I can do this per section, right? To do something like this. And put it here, table of content. And all of this. And all of this. And all of this. Me cancelaron la petición el viernes. No. But this is the table of content, right? This is the table of content, which is getting started with AWS, creating an account, okay? And then it's going to handle all of this. Right? And the security and the cloud front AWS monitoring and troubleshooting, and there you got it, right? The gateway, the CIP pipeline, the cloud development kit, security and encryption, and other services. It's like, please, the company. And Stefan is telling me, hey, please don't compete with me, bro. Huh? Don't do it. Please don't compete with me, because this content has copyrights. because this content has copyright. All of this, right? So look at this. We have now is let me put a bullet here exactly. So we got now is 20 sections, okay? Uh, and we're gonna learn over 30 services here. I already created an account, so they need you. So hey, please give it to me. Your credit card, your phone, email, and pick up any, pick up the two tiers. Pick up the two tiers you wanna go with, right? Is here. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Okay. And then you can get into that, and if you for some reason actually have some sort of trouble, well, actually I take notes out of this. You have also here the code to download, right? For this, that's interesting. This is a specific code for all of this. Holy moly. Now we are talking, my friend. Look at you. Okay, optional. Get 5 practice exams. This course comes with one of exam included. All right. Yeah, an optional join or mailing list here. Join our low frequency mailing list to stay up to date with new course, get promotions, and update about AWS. As thank you, we will send you discounts on all of the AWS courses. Just click here to get started, and happy learning. Okay, that's interesting. That's good. All right. Good. All right. Good. Awesome. There you go. Having problems downloading? Try using a VPN. Resource from this lecture and the resource here. And getting started with AWS here. Let's get into this. So getting it started. Getting it started here. Getting it started. So getting started with AWS. I can put this to say, hey, this is the resources. All right. Course slides. There you got it. Getting it started here.
Now let's look at the history of the AWS cloud.
I do think this is quite revealing. Yeah, some of us might say, "Hey, this is quite boring," but it's is to understand how do we get here, man. AWS cloud history. AWS cloud history. There you got it. AWS cloud history.
So it was launched in 2002 internally at Amazon.com
Hmm.
because they realized that their IT department could be externalized. So their Amazon infrastructure was one of their core strengths, and they said, you know what, maybe we can do IT for someone else, for other people. So they launched their first offering publicly, which was SQS in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
In 2006, they expanded their offering and they relaunched with the availability of SQS, S3, and EC2. Don't worry, we'll see all these services in this course.
Okay.
Then they expanded and said, you know what, we don't have to be just in America, we could be in Europe. And then fast forward to today, we have so many applications that used to run or are still running on AWS, such as Dropbox, Netflix, Airbnb, or even the NASA. Now let's look at where Netflix.
Okay. So it all started there. So it all started with internal applications. That's interesting. Hmm. So it all started as internal applications that so it all started as internal application that now at 2004 they outsourcing some of this. So now at 2004 they outsourcing some of their services to clients, right? And then publicly, public, publicly, and then launch publicity, and then launch publicity, SQS. Mm-hmm. The marketing, and I think CEO, the marketing and CEO thought they could exactly. So they thought, okay, the marketing and CEO thought they could expand uh, their offering in 2006 uh, to SQS, S3, and elastic computing. Here. And expand over over Europe in 2007. This is the nature of business. This is the nature of business and the visionary here. So now, so now services like Dropbox, Airbnb, Netflix, and the whole industry is now using AWS, right?
Netflix, Airbnb, or even the NASA. Now let's look at
And
where
even the
AWS
NASA.
is today. If you look at the magic quadrant from Gartner, you can see that AWS is a leader. And it has been the case for many, many years. So AWS now has $90 billion in revenue as of 2023, and it accounts for about 31% of the market in Q1 2024, with Microsoft being second with 25%. It's been a pioneer and a leader of the market for 13 consecutive years and has over 1 million active users. So learning AWS really sets you up for success.
But this is from Gartner. AWS cloud number fact. But this is from Gartner. Gartner, AWS cloud number fact. AWS cloud number fact. Stay you there, where you are, and there you go. Why are you doing that? And that is this one. But with Gartner data or Gartner Magic Quadrant. And Gartner is Gartner. Yeah, Gartner is an IT service management company, an investing firm. It's an American research and advisory firm. Okay. So Gartner is an American research and advisory firm, IT consulting company, focusing on business and technology topics. Focusing on business and technology topics. Yeah, I am quite familiar with this, by the way.
In the cloud world. So what can you build on AWS? Well, pretty much everything. AWS will enable you to build sophisticated and scalable applications, and they are applicable to a diverse set of industries. Every company has a use case for the cloud. So Netflix, McDonald's, 21st Century Fox, Activision, they're all using the cloud. And use cases can include just transferring your enterprise IT, or using the cloud as a backup and storage, or doing some big data analytics. You can also host a website, or create a backend for your mobile and your social applications. Or you can have your entire gaming servers running on the cloud. The applications are endless. Now, AWS running on the...
But this is the cloud use cases here. Cloud use cases. And again, all of these companies are heavily using that because it's not about software problems, it's about economic problems. But again, enterprise IT, or you can use a backend storage, okay, or big data analytics. Most of the time, this company they want is to do this big data analytics. So, real estate is in the big data analysts, and I will say that all of those companies, at the end of the day, all of this business, at the end of the day, they are in the big data analysis. Right? They need to understand is the customers, the market dynamics, the business dynamic.
The applications are endless. Now, AWS is global, and this is where we are going to learn a bit more specifics about how it works. So we have AWS regions, we have availability zones, data centers, edge locations, and points of presence. And all of these can be represented on the map right here. So let's go on this website to have a quick look at it. So this is a cool.
So wait a second.
Endless. Now, AWS is global, and this is where we are going to learn a bit more specifics about how it works. So we have AWS regions, we have availability zones, data centers, edge locations, and points of presence. And all of these can be represented on the map right here. So,
but this is the global infrastructure, man. So AWS global infrastructure. And this is why I don't theorize this. I already create my own infrastructure here. I already create my own infrastructure to now allow me to is move through this. So I create my infrastructure for eating. I create the infrastructure of uh, for my health, fitness, and nutrition, learning right now, work as well, and sleep, right? I already create that infrastructure for myself. And I can take a look at the infrastructure.aws. No, it's redirecting to that infrastructure.aws. Oh, there you got it. Global infrastructure. Okay. So now they use this to show this. So you got one in Santiago, in Sao Paulo, Mexico, US OS Ohio, in Ohio, US East, Northeast. What is this? All of these data centers? Available incoming soon. Chile. That's very interesting. Of course, because now they're gonna shift to ultra right. It's like, yes. You have all of this in Europe, Ireland, Europe, Paris, Spain, Zurich, Switzerland, yes. Frankfurt, AWS European Sovereign Cloud, Europe, Stockholm. Oh, you Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel. Well, not surprised. Africa, is because the entire this particular. So Africa in general is a conflict zone. Africa, the only place is South Africa, Africa, Cape Town. Middle East, Bahrain. Oh, Bahrain in UAE, in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as if in Mumbai. Hyderabad in Mumbai, Thailand, Asia Pacific, Malaysia, Singapore, Jakarta, Indonesia, exactly, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Taipei, Seoul, Beijing, mainland Indonesia. What the hell is all this? Oh, the map collapsed. Tokyo and Osaka, as well as Seoul, and some of them in Sydney and Australia. All of these are, this is the geographical centers. And by geographical centers, we mean is, hey, data centers. So huge facilities. Let's take a look at this, man. Let's French those look at this, you know. Do you have geographic regions and edge locations? This is on North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia, Asia Pacific, and Australia, New Zealand. This is now the different labels that marketing had put on the world. Oh, okay. North America, South America, and in South America included Central America. You know, North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, including is from India, India, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, China, North Korea, and South Korea, in Japan, and then you have Australia and New Zealand. Ah, look at you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's explore now. Here is at least one of those data centers, right? Shall we? Uh, data AWS data center data center in Mumbai. Facilities. Exactly, man. Holy shit. Datacenters.com. Mm. This is interesting. This is view a Amazon AWS. Um, it employed over 10,000 people. Okay. Mm-hmm. They have over 259 locations, bro. Damn, son. No, this is still on a working process. Collocation, the infrastructure, and as a service. In Oregon. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about South America? Can I take a look at that for view all? Um, uh, Chile? No, Chile's not. Sao Paulo? Exactly. And they have several of them. God damn it. They don't have any image? And grew. In Sao Paulo state. So Sao Paulo, holy shit, they have this huge, this fuck up. Mm, mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. State of Sao Paulo. And on Sao Paulo, they only have 6 facility. God damn it. Holy shit. Um, the state of Rio de Janeiro, Jacarepaguá. Interesting. In the state of Rio de Janeiro. It's in Brazil, state of Sao Paulo. They have several of them. Campinas, Sao Paulo, and in Rio de Janeiro. Mm-hmm. Jacarepaguá. Interesting. Jacarepaguá. Holy fuck. Let me actually put it this way. Oh my god, the French toast is this, bro. So it's here. Mm-hmm. Um, Allegedly, right? in mm, mm, mm. This is the warehouse. Oh, this is the warehouse. No, but this is Walmart. Oh, but I think it's you're looking okay. Exactly. This is the Amazon warehouse. But I don't think this is data centers. I'm not sure these are data centers. Right? I'm not sure they are data centers. Entrada principal. But I'm not sure they are data centers. Suggesting it. Mhm. Not sure if this is a data center. Um, this is warehouse. Oh no, warehouse is something different from a data center, right? Amazon data centers. Amazon data centers, exactly. Amazon's data centers, right? Amazon's data centers. Equinix. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Amazon's data centers. Exactly. But this is Equinix. Amazon's data center. Holy fuck, I'm not remove it. Amazon's data centers. You know, Amazon's data centers. Holy moly. Holy shit. Amazon's data centers. The other is Ascenti. Mm. Not sure if this is from Amazon because those operations are very silent. Are very silent. It's like Elea, Equinix, and Siren, with plans for massive new campus. Like, so they okay. This is their code name. Elea, Real City, Equinix, Ascentis, and Odeida. Uh-huh. Interesting. That's a very interesting place. So they have now this building of here. Okay. So this building here and the other warehouse. So it's different because it's warehouse and Equinix. Mm-hmm. Holy moly, exactly. And they have this. And of course they have all of these operations like this. Holy mo. Okay, all right. Um, just to look at some of those facilities. Okay, for example, in Rio de Janeiro, you get this, right? If I want to look now at the Amazon data centers in Sao Paulo, right? Amazon Web Services. Uh-huh. So now this is the huge facility here. Not no, but not sure if this is. Oh no, but this is for the operations. Exactly, this is for their operations. Exactly, this is for their operations, man. Exactly, exactly. This is for their operations, bro. This is for their operations. So software engineer, not data centers. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Guarulhos, Sao Paulo. Mm. But it's like they have like, of course, because it's like they need to. Now we're talking. This is what it is, man. Is this huge array of computers, bro. Transamerica here is this huge arrays of computing. Dakota. Hmm. Now we're talking. Mm-hmm. But it's this, bro. Exactly. That's what it is. And you think that you can compete against AWS? Yeah, why not? Um, yeah, in fact, I'm not gonna compete with that. I'm just gonna build some applications, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And let they do what they can do best, right? But it's interesting, right? Another example is here. Another example in Sao Paulo is this. Why is that? Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense, man. That makes a lot of sense, bro. That makes a lot of sense. Jesus, French, those guys. These people say, hey, they initially start as small operations, so and then say, hey, you know what? We can scale these things up. This is why. This is why you are not going to if you want to go from one place to another, you don't follow step. You don't read somebody else to do that. You just start from where you are.
So let's go on this website to have a quick look at it. So this is a cool map because on this website we can see how AWS is global.
The map doesn't exist anymore, but I will keep in this video because it has a good educational value. Not being able to access it does not affect your accent.
So if I click on it, I can scroll the world and see what is happening. So we can see that AWS has multiple regions and they're in orange and they're all around the world. For example, Paris, in Spain, in Ohio, in Sao Paulo, Cape Town, Mumbai, and everywhere else. So AWS.
Exactly. So marketing divide this by regions. Okay? And then edge.
Truly is a global service. On top of it, each region are going to be connected through the network. So these are the network reconnecting the regions, and this is a private network up.
I don't know how old is this. Yeah, I don't know how old is this.
Of AWS. And then within each region, for example, if I really scroll into the Cape Town region, we can see that we have blue dots, and each blue dots will be availability zones that we'll be describing in the next slide.
Okay. So you have now the regions and available.
So as we can see, what I want to get you out of this is that AWS truly is global, and we can leverage the infrastructure of a cloud provider to make ourselves, our application, global. The first important concept in AWS are regions. So regions are all around the world, and we saw it on the map from before. The regions have a name. It could be US East 1, EU West 3, and we can see the mapping of the name of the region to their code on the console that we'll see in a minute. Now, a region, what is in it truly? Well, it's going to be a cluster of data centers, so many different data centers located near, for example, Ohio or Singapore or Sydney or
San or
when we use AWS services, most services are going to be linked and scoped to a specific region. That means that if we use a service in one region and we try to use it in another region, it will be like a new time of using the service. Now, a question that may come up in the exam is how do you choose an AWS?
So based on so you have now regions, AWS regions, all right, which is a cluster of data centers. It's a cluster of data centers. Is a cluster of data centers. And most AWS services are region scope.
Of using the service. Now, a question that may come up in the exam is how do you choose an AWS region? So say you're launching a new application, where should you do it? Should you do it in America, in Europe, in South America, or in Australia?
It's gonna depend where you're going to deliver, where your customer base are.
Well, the answer is, of course, it depends. But let's look at some factors that may impact your choice of an AWS region. The first one is compliance. So sometimes governments want the data to be local to the country you're deploying the application in. For example, France, data in France may have to stay in France, and therefore you should launch your application in the French region. Then there is also a concept of latency. So if most of your users are going to be in America, it makes a lot of sense to deploy your application in America, close to your users, because they will have a reduced latency. If you deploy your application in Australia and your users are in America, they will have a lot of lag using your application. Then also, not all regions have all services, okay? Some regions do not have services, and so obviously if you're leveraging a service with your application, you need to make sure that the region you're deploying into is available and does have that service. And finally, pricing. So pricing does vary from region to region, and you need to consult the services pricing pages to see what the differences are between the regions. But this could be obviously a factor that could impact your deployment of an application into a specific region. Now, availability zones are what
This is how to choose the AWS regions. This is how to use AWS availability, or how to use AWS regions, because there are cluster of data centers, right? And that'll be is the compliance. If you're building an application, what are the compliance around it? Okay, right? So if you are building an app, so instead, if you're building an app, where should you do it, right? And there's a couple things to evaluate, okay? And there is a couple things to evaluate. One of them is the compliance, the one of them is the compliance, okay, or AKA. So data governance, and legal requirements, right? That your data never leaves the region. That your data never leave the region. This is bullshit, bro. There is a proximity based on user location to reduce latency. The other is available services. Interesting. Within a region. Available services within a region. So, for example, some regions might not have access to latest features, AI, for example. In some countries, not US friendly, you know. Available services, and the other is the pricing, right? Pricing, so pricing varies region to region, bro. And it's transparent in the service pricing page. Okay, and it's transparent in the service pricing page, right? You got it. But again, is this. So compliance, based on the proximity of the users, if those services are available of the user, because now this is when geopolitics kicks in, and the other is pricing. So pricing is very region to region. Again, taxes and all these additional costs that the company have to pay off. So corporate taxes, corporate taxes based on that country, all right. Corporate taxes, perhaps tariff to import tech assets, you know, corporate taxes on that country, tariff to import tech assets, employees remuneration, um, or employees uh, benefits. Does also impact that. Mm-hmm.
Application into a specific region. Now, availability zones are what actually are going into the region. So each region will have many availability zones, usually 3. The minimum is 3 and the max is 6, but really the usual is 3. So let's take the Sydney region as an example. The Sydney region code is AP Southeast 2. So we have 3 availability zones in Sydney: AP Southeast 2A, AP Southeast 2B, and AP Southeast 2C. Now, each of these availability zones are going to be one or more discrete data centers that will have redundant power, networking, and connectivity.
Interesting. So they own their own cluster of data, their own discrete data centers, have redundant power, networking, and connectivity.
It means that
so each availability zone exactly have redundant power, networking, and connectivity. Interesting. If one fail, the other can still provide services.
Southeast 2A, I can have 2 data centers, maybe as well 2 in 2B and 2 in 2C. But it could be 1, it could be 3, it could be 4. We don't really know. AWS doesn't tell us that. But what we know is that these availability zones are separate from each other so that they will be isolated from disasters. So if something happens to AP Southeast 2A, we know that it is designed not to cascade into AP Southeast 2B or AP Southeast 2C. So they're really isolated from disasters. And then these data centers, these availability zones, they are connected with a high bandwidth, ultra low latency networking, and therefore, all together, being linked together, it will form a region. Okay, next, the only thing we need to know about AWS for the global infrastructure is 2B or AP Southeast 2C. So they're really isolated from disasters. And then these data centers, these availability zones, they are connected with a high bandwidth, ultra low latency networking, and therefore, all together, being linked together, it will form a region. Okay, next, the only thing we need to know about AWS for the global infrastructure is the points of presence or edge location.
How to choose that? And here is availability or availability zones. Exactly. AWS availability zones. Okay. Because this a global infrastructure, and in the global infrastructure you have now the AWS region. Makes sense. And in the global infrastructure you have AWS regions, right? You also have is AWS availability zones. The AWS data centers, which are facilities, right? Are facilities. Come on, the fucking heck you think you do? They are facilities. They are physical. They are facilities with a range of servers there, with several hundreds. This must be hundreds of thousands of machines layered on top of that, right? With redundancy power and connectivity. With redundancy power and connectivity. And the other is the AWS edge locations. Edge locations. Or points of presence. So AWS region, how to choose AWS regions, AWS availability zones, right? AWS availability zones, which the anatomy of this is, no, where the anatomy here is uh, each region each region has many available zones, usually three, that follow a particular code name. So for example here say, hey, this is B or C or A, B, and C. Alright? And each availability zone is one of the discrete data center, and each availability zones is one of those discrete data centers with redundant power. They must have with redundant power, networking, and connectivity uh, isolated isolated uh, isolated and separate each other from disasters. From disaster. And they are connected with high bandwidth, ultra low latency network. Connected with high bandwidth, ultra, ultra low latency networking. Right? And it's interesting because they have at least at that moment, right? They have 31% of the market in Q1 2024. All right. So AWS Q3 2025. Not earning. I'm talking about is uh, redundant power and networking. Not earning is market share. Exactly. Market share by Gartner. Represents has according to this 29% of the global public cloud infrastructure market share, maintaining its position as the market leader. How can I look at that? The Gartner. Uh, mm-hmm. Hmm. New spam control feature improve BigQuery, but support issues remain. BigQuery is a powerful tool, but support is inconsistent. They have caught up with competitive marketplace dramatically in the last year. AWS Redshift is a good product to store data in an optimal way. Redshift, from an analytic perspective, where it provides optimal performance is data store. This is and the using is AWS Redshift. It's a good product to store data in an optimal way from an analytical analysis perspective. Mm-hmm. But again, for all of this, financial governance, evaluation and contracting, This is because this is huge, bro. This is huge. Best strategic cloud platform here. No, but I'm looking is more the market share. Can you show me that? Do you have any image for that? Oh, Magic Quadrant. That's right. Magic Quadrant here. Mm-hmm. Oh, but this is from AWS. Okay, Magic Quadrant. Mm. Mm. Uh, Magic Quadrant. Garner. 2025. AWS. Mm. Yeah, but what about Garner? They are not full. They are not full. Largest cloud community. Mm. Is a lead blogger of AWS News blog and principal developer advocates. Principal developer advocate for AWS Cloud. As an open web enthusiast and a blogger at heart, he loves community-driven learning and sharing technology. Full Gartner report. Read the Gartner report. Mm. Magic quadrants. Here. Now we're talking about. How old is this? August. There you got it. August 2024. In registers. Course slides. Gartner. Magic quadrant for web services. August 2025. August 2025. They don't mention is that Amazon Web Service, Google and Microsoft, and Oracle is also part of the leaders here. Alibaba are challengers. IBM is niche players, similar with Huawei Cloud and Tencent Cloud. Exactly, they don't want to be leaders in all of this. They're just going to focus on one niche. Very, very interesting. Tencent Cloud and Huawei Cloud. Okay, holy fucking. All right.
See networking, and therefore, all together being linked together, it will form a region. Okay, next, the only thing we need to know about AWS for the global infrastructure.
Can you take a look at those notes? It's possible to look at those notes. It is possible to look at those notes.
Structure is the points of presence or edge locations. We will see them in details in the global section of this course, but you should know that AWS has more than 400 points of presence in 90 cities across 40 countries, and this will be very helpful when we deliver content to the end users with the lowest latency possible. And this is what you see on this map. Now, again, I'm going quickly over this because we will see this at about the middle of this course. So now, how about we just play around and do it
AWS point of presence here. An AWS point of presence. An AWS point of presence. Mhm. And you can have access to the CloudFront features. CloudFront features. AWS. Um, Here. CloudFront point of presence. Regional edge caches. Okay. Multiple edge locations and edge locations. Even Colombia have an edge location, but I think that they don't have directly that. They also just have some sort of. South America have 5. Interesting. Point of presence. Motherfucker. This is military. So all of this content and the thing how they describe stuff is very in this military sense. So don't get me wrong with this company. And again, I truly, uh, I, I, I think this is what it is, man. This is what it is, man. To live a life in this military sense because it works. It doesn't mean you have to kill somebody, but that having this leverage over others, uh, of course, guarantee you now that things works according to the leader's vision, according to this small, minute, small of people here. Canada, Calgary, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Santiago de Querétaro. In South America, you have now in Bogota, Peru. They don't put it here in Peru, but they have also some presence in Argentina, Buenos Aires, Fortaleza, Guarulhos, and Rio de Janeiro. And you have also in Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, an embedded point of presence. Again, I'm assuming that they have all of this Buenos Aires, Cordoba, and Rosario, all of this Isla of Man, all of this external providers, global edge network here, all of this external provider or POPS, bro. POPS, bro. Point of presence.
At the middle of this course. So now, how about we just play around and do a tour of the console? We'll see that AWS has global services such as IAM, Route 53, CloudFront, and WAF, but we'll see that also most AWS services are going to be region scoped, such as Amazon EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, and Recognition. Finally, to know if a service is available in your region, there is a region table you should check out right here.
Tour of AWS console. Tour of AWS console. Right? Tour of AWS console here. You have global services. Okay. So you have global services. So like identity access management, the route 553 DNS services, DNS service. Interesting. You have CloudFront. You have CloudFront of content delivery or CDN. content delivery networks, and you have now WAF, web applications, web application firewall, firewall, firewall. And most AWS servers are region scope. And most AWS servers are region scope. So for example, the computing, okay, Amazon Elastic Computing too, infrastructure as a service, infrastructure as a service, because they are providing you this they're giving to you is this collections of servers that you're not gonna handle, right? They're gonna handle that for you, for your web app, whether it's in the financial, manufacturing, oil industry, whatever industry you are, is this. And then you have elastic beanstalk, I think, for platform as a service, right? Lambda functions, which are functions as a service, hey, this particular functionality I'm gonna provide to you, that is gonna run in my entire data centers, okay, with the redundancy, with all of this power redundancy, connectivity, that are separated in a region where you might have is up to 3 of this specific availability zones or data clusters, right? They are highly redundant, networking and highly connected. Separate each other to avoid any disaster, and isolated from disasters here. So you can use this my infrastructure as a service, or the platform as a service, or even some function as a service, as well as recognition. Software as a service. You can take a look at the region table. Say regional product services, regional product services in AWS. Let me see if this is the first link. Dig it. No, they didn't get it. What about the map? I'm looking for the map. I am looking for. Let me see if I can get that from here. Dig it. And it's this one. I think they actually changed that. Yeah. List of AWS servers by region. Okay. Holy moly. List of AWS servers by region. Okay. List of AWS servers by region. Yeah, so far so good. Yes. Are there explanations of concepts are clear? Yes. Is instruction delivery engaging? Not sure, but yes. Are there enough opportunity to apply what you're learning? I don't know. So far, yes. Is the course delivering of your expectations? Not sure. Let's see. If the instructor knowledge about the topic, Oh, sure. Save and exit. Okay.
Hi, so just before we get started on this course, just a note about the UI change in AWS. So you may see the console like this, a big bright white and then some rounded buttons and a bright blue. So this is the new UI of AWS, and the old UI used to look a little bit more gray, the blue a little more pale, the buttons were square and not round, and this is the new UI with more roundness, more modernness. On a visual level, it may look a little bit different, okay? But on the usability perspective, the UI should be exactly the same. So if you see my videos recorded with this kind of UI, just rest assured that the new UI should look exactly the same from a usability perspective, not just from a visual perspective. If things change too much and there is buttons moving places and so on, please let me know and I will do my best to update some videos. But in the meantime, I will leave my videos because there's so many of them running on the, well, quote unquote older UI, and the new UI is just for you to figure out, but it's exactly the same, just new colors and new shapes for buttons. Okay, so thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lecture.
Good.
So welcome to the AWS console home, and it
Tour on AWS console and service in AWS. And this is tour on AWS console and service in AWS. Tour on AWS console and service in AWS. And service in AWS. Okay. So again, the fundamental of all of this is not only the history and how they when they started in 2002. Holy fuck, man! We're talking about is that after the dot-com bubble in 2001, and they started to say, hey, no, 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 let's go to focus on one thing, and one thing only, and they started developing internal tools that they can now outsourcing that, right? Mm-hmm. And this is exactly what's going on. Something here. I think the AI is on somewhat similar pace, where there is a lot of things that you can do, or there's an infinite possibilities, and then you realize that there are some small applicability of all of this. So far, the best for me has to provide me some insights of about the fundamentals, right? So provide me some fundamental insights to see how can I apply it into my into my daily task, activity, whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah. In the context of business, they say, hey, we started with this internal tool. We developed this small Amazon store, and now we are outsourcing all of this, right? Uh, and then, right, they are outsourcing all of this. You see, some of these services are not exposed to everyone, especially on security, bro. Domain specific in the XM. The Associate. Hmm. Mm-hmm. In line of business. Exactly, in line of business. I am on the cloud practitioner. Training and certification of this. Security, networking, Amazon Web Services, and its liabilities here. Here's what AWS certifiers holders have to say. Freelance cloud software consultant. I'm not surprised for this. Role Adali, senior lead data science. What I learned really changed my perspective of what's possible in the cloud and the transforming web. Now I have much better understanding of the AWS ecosystem, certifications and credibility, and demonstrate my commitment to learning and improving my best practice in real life. As the AWS certified solution architect, professional and certified DevOps, it's because these things are shifting to that. But you are beware of that because you're gonna get locked into that. That's what I prefer to also complete your learning. Okay, you might using this particular platform. This is somewhat similar to using now YouTube or any other platform. So you're starting to understand those fundamentals, how that things work, all right? But so for those platforms, your understanding is a fundamental. The uh, the 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 standards in which this is built upon, and when you understand those standards, right? Whether it's in the case of the development is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and HTTP. Once you understand those fundamentals, all right, now you can have a better sense of where you want to head into. Again, this is very, very, very specific uh, to to people, right? Interesting, very, very interesting. I don't know where those guys get this AWS certified path, right? Um, hmm, hmm, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Okay, 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 okay. Um, okay. AWS line of business. Okay. Holy moly here. Holy moly here. Let's get into this, fellas. Okay. AWS certification path. Certification path. Right? You got this. AWS certification, but path. Browse the certificate. There you got it. Mm. right? Is in this one. Okay. AWS developer. Um, developer as AWS certified developer. Certified developer associate. AWS certified developer. AWS AWS certified developer associate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Jesus, why this is low? Oh, I know. Okay. Uh, Okay. Anyway, bye bye. Okay. Mm. 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 This is. Mm. Mm-hmm. All right. Now we are talking, bro.
In this page, you can do a lot of things. So first of all, let's have a look.
We have like what, like several of them? Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 20. God damn. 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Holy shit. Okay. We have like 3 weeks. Holy shit! That again at my own pace. At my own pace, because this is for
At
understanding,
the
man.
top right corner of the screen. Right now, this is what's called the region selector, and right
Mm.
now I am in Northern Virginia, US East 1. But it is advised for this course to choose a region that is geographically close to you.
Mm.
So because I'm in Europe, I'm actually close to Ireland, so I can choose EU West 1. But if you're in other regions of the world, for example, if you're in Africa and you're close to Cape Town, then choose this. Of course, you don't have to physically be in that region to use that region, okay? You can, for example, choose whatever region makes sense for you. So choose whatever is closest, and this will give you the lowest amount of latency. Next in the console, you will see a list of recently visited services, and it should be empty
This
for
is
you.
the
We're gonna just try that one.
DNS.
So it's showing one right here for me. On the bottom, you get some information about AWS. You get the health issues if need be, and cost and usage info for your account, as well as tutorials to build a solution, and so on. So this web page is actually changing a lot over time, and has changed a lot for the past 2 years. And so it may not look exactly the same as you. And in case it looks very, very, very different, I will re-record this lecture. Okay, so once we have this, we need to look at services of AWS. And for this, two options. The first one is to go on the top left, click on services,
So
and
you
you
can
can
have access
either
to
look at
all of
services
these
by
services that you
alphabetical
have
order. As you can
available.
see, there are a lot of
Alphabetically
services of AWS, or by category. For example,
by
for
category.
compute, you would have all these services and so on. But don't worry, over time
Again,
you will learn these
alphabetically
services, and we don't have to navigate through that page.
Even for blockchain.
Another thing I really like is the search bar. So you can actually type a service, for example, Route 53, and then it gives you search results. So it gives you 4 services that match this query, okay? And then within these services, we can also have a look at features, and 13 features match them. So we can directly jump into the domain names of the Route 53 service, and that's a good thing. We can also look at blogs, knowledge articles, documentations, and so on. So this is quite cool. Let's go into Route 53 now to have a look at this console. So this one is very special because on the top right hand side, it says global. That means that this console does not require a region selection, and that is more the exception than the rule. But some services in AWS are what's called global services, and no matter where you are, you're going to get the same view. But if you switch services and you go, for example, to the EC2 service,
Elastic Compute.
this time on the top right hand side, as you can see, it says Ireland because that shows the Ireland region. And so based if I run this console in Ireland or say in another region, for example, in Canada, well, my view is going to be different in terms of the resources that I will see. So that's why it's important for you to remain within the same region for the entire duration of this tutorial and this course. The other thing you can look at is called the AWS Global Infrastructure that you can find on Google. And this gives you a lot of information around your services. And one thing that is very important to look at is the AWS regional services. And it gives you the services list by region. And so this is the table.
Exactly, the region table.
And so for example, if in the course I talk about a service and do a hands-on, but it doesn't seem to be in your region.
Okay. So are you not gonna? Okay. All right. Okay. Why can your emails? Why can get? I'll give you a post for any update and for your patient. Okay. Okay. So here in this tech stack, um, yes, and AWS service. This has to be now a new one, bro. You know, this has to be a new one because this is somewhat duplicate here. But say, hey, is the AWS stack. Why is this? Because here we're gonna look at the line of business. The line of business. Alright, enable disable feature flag. Roadmap for AWS certification path, aka so you can use their services. All right. You have some sort of paper to say, hey, yeah, you passed the exam. Hey, this MF knows how to use this, how to play with this. So yeah, this one. And the other is this, because there are several links here. There are several links here. One of them is Global Infrastructure Product Services, or the region table. Region table. All right. So what services are available to that? Okay. So, or description, what service are available in your region, or in a region, by the way. All right.
Is the AWS regional services, and it gives
Exactly. Global infrastructure. The link is quite the same. Exact. It is. It is. Okay. On the global infrastructure.
view the services list by region. And so this is the table. And so for example, if in the course I talk about a service and do a hands-on, but it doesn't seem to be in your region, you can check here and find the availability of services. So for example, we can have a look for Cape Town and see the services that are available in this region. And if you don't see a service, maybe you need to switch a region in, of course, the console to have access to it, because not all the services from AWS are in every region. So that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next one. But second thing that is very in Google.
Yeah, this is more like navigating through.
This time on the services in AWS are knowledge articles. 13 is the search bar, so you can actually have all these services and you can, it's very, very, very different.
So this is, you can navigate through the services, right? You can navigate through the services or by querying.
And you can either look at services by alphabetical order, as you can see, there are a lot of services on AWS, or by category, for example.
But it's this. Let me do this. So you can browse services via the icon services or by querying them in the search bar. They are organized alphabetically, right? So they are organized alphabetically, and this is it.
For compute, the thing I really like is the search bar. So you can actually type a service, for example, route 53, and then it gives you search results. So it gives you 4 services that match this query, okay? And then within these services, we can also have a look at features, and 13 features match them. So we can directly 53, and then it gives you search results. So it gives you 4 services that match this query, okay? And then within these services, we can also have a look at features, and 13 features match them. So we can directly jump into the domain names of the Route 53 service, and it's a good thing. We can also look at blogs, knowledge articles, documentations, and so on. So this is quite cool. Let's go into Route 53 now to have a look at this console. So this one is very special because on the top right hand side, it says global. That means that this console does not require a region selection, and that is more the exception than the rule. But some services in AWS are what's called global services, and no matter where you are, you're going to get the same view. But if you switch services and you go, for example, to the EC2 service, this time on the top right hand side, as you can see, it says Ireland because that shows the Ireland region. And so based if I run this console in Ireland or say in another region, for example, in Canada, well, my view is going to be different in terms of the resources that I will see. So that's why it's important for you to remain within the same region for the entire duration of this tutorial and this course. The other thing you can look at is called the AWS Global Infrastructure that you can find on Google. And this gives you a lot of information around your services. And one thing that is very important to look at is the AWS regional services. And it gives you the services list by region. And so this is the table. And so for example, if in the course I talk about a service and do a hands-on, but it doesn't seem to be in your region, you can check here and find the availability of services. So for example, we can check
how not familiar is. How rare. Wait, what?
Query, okay? And then within these services, we can also look at block region selection, and that is more the exception.
So here I explored the Route 53 to show that global regions are more an exception than the norm. So for example here, and in my case is here, right? And in this case is here. And it's also showing me here, now, so they improve their workflow. It says this.
The domain name system, or DNS, is basically the phone book for the internet. It translates human-readable names like www.example.com to numeric IP addresses that
readable human names to IP address.
computers use to talk to each other. Amazon Route 53 is a DNS service that gives developers and businesses a reliable and cost-effective way to route end users to internet applications.
Why Route 53, bro? Yeah, but why Route 53? You know what I mean? Why Route 53 in US? What is one of the longest routes here? In a north-south US highway that runs for 404 miles, God, 650 kilometers, from La Crosse, Wisconsin to International Falls, Minnesota. But they look the same. It is a primary north-south route in northwest Wisconsin as a vital link between the US Klein, Wisconsin and the twin port of Superior, Wisconsin. But it's here. Okay, 53. That go from north. God damn it, bro. This is Jesus. I go from here, Fort Francis. God damn it. All the way down to shit. Fuck. To this. To La Crosse. Damn, son. 650 kilometers. So if you go over 150, right? Damn. If you go over 150 to, so roughly 5 hours or 4 hours. And if you go roughly 130, right? You're gonna take 5 hours. Damn, son. Okay. 5 hours going to 130. You know? This is why the infrastructure. This is why the Chinese infrastructures are beating the U.S. infrastructure, because they get entitled and wrapped into all of its bureaucracy. Ooh, oh my God. ServiceNow, Oracle, and so on and so forth. MongoDB. new AWS certified AI practitioner. Mhm. 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 Because this is for application architect. Mm. From architecture and development and operations, which is actually go into that and cloud engineering security and test engineering, DevSecOps engineering and cloud security engineering and so on and so forth. And then prompt engineering, this is bullshit. But the machine learning is. Mm. Mm. Anyway, here we are. Okay.
Another
Was
rule.
Route
But some
53.
services in AWS are what's called global services, and no matter where you are, you're going to get the same view. So that's why it's important for you to remain within the same region for the entire duration of this tutorial and this course. The other thing you can look at is called the AWS Global Infrastructure that you can find on Google. And this gives you a lot of information around your services. And one thing that is very important to look at is the AWS regional services. And it gives you the services list by region. And so this is the table. And so, for example, if in the course I talk about a service
Global
and do a hands-on,
infrastructure.
but it doesn't seem to be in your region, you can check here and find the availability of services. So for example, we can have a look for Cape Town and see the services that are available in this region. And if you don't see a service, maybe you need to switch a region in, of course, the console to have access to it, because not all the services from AWS are in every region. So that's it for this lecture. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next lecture.
This is the global infrastructure.
Welcome to the first deep dive on an AWS service. The first one is called IAM. So IAM stands for the Identity and Access Management. It is a global service because in IAM we are going to create our users and
global infrastructure.
So we've already used IAM without knowing. When
Which
we
is
created an
region,
account, we created a root account, and it's been created by default.
And
this is the root user of our account. And the only thing you should use it for is to set up your account, as we'll do it right now. But then you shouldn't use that account anymore or even share it. What you should be doing instead is create users. So you will create users in IAM, and one user represents one person within your organization. And the user.
Alright, I'm gonna take a pause here. And that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.